Where you find that at?
It's right here. I'm gonna take this one home. I ain't gonna lie.
Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. This week, I got an incredible guest, Talanoa Hufanga. What up, brother?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed, man. I got you on here, team balling. What y'all done won 5 straight?
Something like that.
Gotta feel good.
Man, we just going out there and having fun. I know everybody kind of sees it, and it's a great locker room, bunch of great dudes, and we just go out there and just put all the pieces together, and we fly around with a lot of energy, and it's just been fun.
That's how it's supposed to be. And there's a standard to the defense, and I know Fred and Eric and Dre and Jimmy, holding everybody to that. And E-Man, oh man, I hated that happened to E-Man, man. How were y'all able to overcome all the injuries all season?
Honestly, it's we had a little bumps in the road. We've had 2 quarterbacks go down. We've had 2 corners go down that are big time, and crucial to what our organization is about. Guys that hold the standard and continue to set it each and every day. So defensively, it was 2 great dudes. It goes beyond football, because these are guys that you spend your time with. You know what it's like being in these meetings. You spend all your time with them every single day, and you get to see their perspective on life and different things. So seeing those things happen is never fun. It's never pleasant, but for guys like them, it actually, it builds their character and the adversity that they get to go through. And, the guys have always had injuries, but when they come back, they're even a stronger person mentally. So
speaking of injuries, man, they got my boy Jimmy G too. Oh, that had to be tough on game day, man. But Purdy went in there and played the game. But how was it, when y'all went in there and talked to him?
It was tough, and I think after the game, Bosa talked, and it was a special moment, for him just to kind of let it all out, and how he felt and what it means to him to lose a guy or lose a friend, that's able to play on the field. So there's upside to it, and Purdy coming in and being able to do what he did, and as a young guy, rookie, his locker is only 2 away from mine, so I see him every day studying, preparing, so. It's a blessing for him just to be able to go in there and showcase what he can do. But a guy like Jimmy G, it's very, we send our prayers out to him just to have a successful surgery and all those things like that. So.
Right. I hope he bounces back stronger than ever, man. He's at a unfortunate road, and just weathers the storm and been a consummate pro. But it's your Pro Bowl year. We got to get you to the Pro Bowl this year. So, faithful, y'all got to get out and vote in waves. The coaches and the players, they're going to do their thing. But y'all got to make sure this man get what he deserves because he out there balling. 4 picks, 5 tackles for a loss, the only player this year. And they said you grew up on a farm in Oregon and went to SC. You're going to have to explain that to me.
Yeah, so grew up in Oregon, small town, Albany, right next to Corvallis. So I kind of claim I'm from Corvallis because that's where I went to school.
Right.
But really, it was weird because I had offers to go a lot of different places in the country, whether it was Alabama, Michigan, or even staying home at Oregon State and Oregon. I wanted to leave, though. It was something that was, in my heart just to get away and do something different. And growing up in Oregon, you get a lot of rain. Right. And it's not, and I know you played in Seattle, too. So you know what the rain is like. It just rains constantly in the Pacific Northwest. So I was like, why not go somewhere warm where I'd enjoy life outside of football?
Right.
And so I made my way down to USC, but it was very different because when I lived on my farm, like I had open fields everywhere. Like my backyard was 2 acres of just like grass, like, and it was just cows. That's where my cows roamed and everything. So it was weird. And then you go to USC and the biggest open area is the football field.
Right. Concrete jungle, baby.
A concrete jungle. So it was very different. It was eye opening. And I think that's what I loved it. It was something that was very different and it kind of made me appreciate what a city life is because I never had that growing up. So it was pretty cool. And it was unique for sure.
No question. And people think USC is in a good area. FC is in in the slums, baby.
Oh, no,
Don't let it fool you.
I've had some encounters for sure. So it's definitely different than just going to, walking your goat, walking your cow around just for fun. And then you're going over there and you just got to dodge the bullets,
Right, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But, when did you connect with Troy? Obviously the path is similar. And obviously you coming to the Niners, but, you can see the similarities on the field. You can see and your triggers and it's different than how you were playing last year. I thought last year you played well, you played solid, but you weren't as instinctive as you are this year. This year you see it, you believe it, and you gun it every single time. Like, what changed?
And I'll answer the first part first. I was very fortunate. My senior year of high school, I was at the Polynesian Bowl in Hawaii. I met a guy by the name of Vi Sikahema. He was like one of the first ever Tongans to play in the NFL. Good return guy, good specialist, running back. We sat down and we talked. We're like, man, who do you really aspire to be like? And I was like, man, I've been watching Troy my whole life. Like, and I had the short hair at the time. Don't get it confused. I had the short hair. But I was like, man, this is a guy that I really respected, his game. And, he's a very humble Polynesian dude. So I was like, man, it'd be cool to, just kind of emulate his game. So next thing you know, he's like, I actually know him. Let me put you in contact with him. And I'm like, as a senior in high school, for me, it was raps. Like, you give me his number. Right. I'm not ever losing this number.
I'm not losing it. Right.
And so I end up getting on the phone with him. And, as a young kid, I'm still 17, by the way. So I'm asking him, what can I do to be a better safety? And this guy completely avoids the question. He's like, we got to work on your character first. And he doesn't even know me. Like, I'm committed to USC. I want to go to USC because that was my dream school. But he's telling me, he's like, man, there's no need for work on safety. We need to work on your character first. And so we sit down and we come up with a list of things to do. And I'm just like, dang, I just want to play football. But in order to do these things, that's how we can, we're going to elevate your game. And so, one of those things was we got to delete social media for all of college. And I looked at him like, dude, you're telling me as a safety, as a freshman, as a guy that's going to USC, a big branding market, I got to get rid of my social media. And he's like, yeah, if you want to be all in, we got to do this. So I was like, all right, say less. And so I ended up getting off of social media for 3 years because I only went to college for 3 years. So all 3 years, I never downloaded no app, never was on no app, no nothing. And I'm like, this dude has me tripping.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But, listen to a guy that did it at the highest level and was a Hall of Famer. I was like, I got to listen to him, and he's done so many things in this game to change his game, but is also a great person. It would be stupid of me not to listen. So I followed some of the advice. There was other things he had said, and I kept doing them. And what was kind of cool about it is I don't think he actually knew that I did it. He kind of told me this as, this is like, I'm a young kid. And I kept the relationship all the way through college. I was able to see his house, go to his house, visit with his family, and really create a close bond. But it wasn't until I finished my third year and I decided to declare, I told him, I was like, yeah, I did all those things you had told me.
What did he say?
I still remember he was on the phone with it, and I'm on the phone with him, like, because I'm trying to ask him, can you train me for the draft, but not really for the combine? I was like, can you train me just to get ready for the NFL?
Right.
And I think when I told him, I was like, yeah, I listened to everything you said. His wife was there, and he's like, I think he did everything I told him to do. And she's like, no way. And then he gets back and he's like, yeah, I'll train you. So I was like, all right, bet. Like, this is cool. And so, he
kind of had to at that point. He kind of had to.
Yeah, I think he was just like, very shocked. But it was like, for me, I respected him, and I still do to this day. Like, anything he says, like, I really take it to heart. And, and I truly want to be the best version of myself, on the field. And so I went through my rookie year, and as you said, like, there was little bits and pieces. It was rough, and everybody said, oh, you should have played. No, I was like, I played just enough where I got to learn, I got to grow, I got to sit behind good veteran guys that really helped me see the game. And honestly, it was just, a long year for me to just like try to get in tune to what this NFL life was. And so this year, had a great offseason with Troy, but it really kind of propelled this, this time for me to be able to trigger on the field, be able to see things different, prepare different, and go out there and knew what to expect when I hit the field. And so a lot of this year is having a lot of great guys around me and great coaches. So I know there's a long answer to your question, but it's been a blessing in my life for sure.
That people don't understand what great defense is and what great veterans can do for you. Great veterans can lead you, teach you. Bad veterans can do the same thing. There are teams you get on the team, veterans don't say nothing to you. They don't tell you how to prepare. They don't help you in practice. They don't encourage you. They don't support you. And then you just, people have different careers. That's why people are like, man, you get to different teams and people have different experiences. But I'm so excited for you because, the play you made, I think it was on a screen pass, the screen pass that you tipped up and caught in pick six. Like the balls you got to have to take your shot right there are crazy because it could easily be screen and goal. And you didn't hesitate. You read your keys. You trusted what you saw, and you went. And bro, when I saw that, I said, okay, now, all right, like there's no film, there's no training, there's nothing. You can't teach that kind of trigger, that kind of trust, that kind of. And sometimes you're gonna lose something. This week you had Tyreek. It got a little play. Like, all right, put it in a notebook. Like, you know what I mean? Chalk it up, dust yourself off. Hey, it ain't gonna happen again. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool about the game. And it's cool to see that evolution. I mean, only in your second year, and you've taken freaking a huge leap. But explain that Tyreek play to me. What you see?
Honestly, we're playing different coverages. You try to show everything. You know how it is. We playing quarters coverage. You're playing cover 1. You're playing cover 3. You try to disguise everything. Almost try to be the same. See.
Right.
And, we're playing quarters coverage. So, obviously if there's an overwrap, you can take those, you can drop those. Everybody plays it completely different, Right. And so for me, that was, kind of like a little bit of my responsibility. But in the back end, rewatching it, why would I not play deep to short? You know what I mean? And so that's something I get to learn from, help my teammates out by, being in the right spot at the right time and doing my job. And so that was my job. And I gave up a play. But honestly, I just got to continue to grow from it and learn from it.
And sometimes take your lump now because you're going to see the play in the playoffs. I guarantee you. You're going to get to the playoffs and they're going to put that carrot right in front of you and say, hey, did he learn or did he not learn? And the quarterback might just say, hey, I don't think you learned and let it go. And that might be a book, you know what I mean? Where you be like, look, y'all thought I didn't learn. It's in the notebook, baby. Right there. Don't do it again.
No doubt. They always say stay off the cheese. And so I definitely took the cheese. I got to be lactose intolerant now. And anyway, I can't stay off the cheese so I can stay back. Definitely I'll learn from it for sure.
Oh, man, I know you will. And the way your season's been going, man, I hope they give you your honor and I hope you don't play in it because I hope y'all get to the goddamn big game. Big game, doubt. Baby.
No doubt.
It had to feel good to taste that NFC Championship, though. You know what I mean? And just feel the intensity of the playoffs and all that energy.
Obviously I played in Oregon football. I went to USC. I played we had a great year, but it was Pac-12. We went to Pac-12 championship, but it was COVID, so we didn't have no fans.
Right.
So, the years that we were bad, it was, there wasn't that many people in the stands. But then going to Green Bay, going to Dallas, going to the NFC Championship and Levi South is what I call it.
Yeah.
Seeing how many people showed up and what playoff football was about, it was so electric. Like you get goosebumps and everything. Right. Like it was different. Like, and I was like, this is what games that I've seen the games that you played in. So I know exactly, like, I didn't know how electric those games were. And so like, it's weird to like even think that I've even been in one of those games. That was the highest, like biggest game I've ever been in. And so like, looking back at it now, like we strive for those moments, because those are special, and you'll remember those ones forever. So
don't worry, you're gonna be your beyond back in it this year. And and the cool thing about those games is it's not different. You know what I mean? It's really not that different. Like once you get past the flash and the hoorah and the NFC Championship on the field, like once I smack somebody, like hey, we out here? Like hey. Hey, check. Hey, get your checks. Hey, you down. Hey, check your motion. Hey, Rita. Linda. Like the calls, you in the game, you in the mix. Like, come on now. I didn't play in the scheme, baby.
You be watching, you be knowing everything that be going on. That's funny.
Got to. But it was cool. It's just really cool when you get to go into those moments with the soldiers that you've been riding with. That's the cool part is that you playing in one of the best. I mean, I think y'all the best defense in football. And when Eric came back, I mean, just went to a whole nother level again.
He opens up so much doors, and you can see it just with the pass rush and the ability for him to get close to getting home or getting other guys open to get home. I think there was one where I think he like dang near took 3 guys out and Bosa came scot-free. You know what I mean? So, but that's what, D'Amico Ryans, and I know you've been underneath that tree of all these guys that have been here. They preach that, we want to be the number one defense, but we also want to win, every single game. And our coach talks about just taking that one step, going 1-0 every snap, and if you can do 1-0 every snap over the course of a game and being successful, it just adds up. You can really win a lot of games like that. And we got to be the rock in any way possible. So it's funny because, a lot of people don't see that, the inside scoop of what it's like. We believe it every single day when we go into our meetings, and that's the only way you can come out and be able to put stuff on film like that. So testament to those guys and watching those films and getting those cut ups and really pushing us to be the best defense possible. So, I got a lot of respect for our coaches for real.
No question. Well, tell me about Kyle, because I love Kyle. That's my guy. Yeah. But he's an acquired taste for some. You know what I mean? Because you rarely run into a coach that keep it a buck like Kyle do.
Oh, no doubt. He's a guy that's going to tell you the truth. He's going to shoot you straight. He's going to make sure you are on top of everything, regardless of your situation. If you are a undrafted free agent that came into the league and you weren't expected to play, you were expected to play at a first round talent level. You know what I mean? Like, you have to play every snap like that. And I think that's why you see a lot of guys that were undrafted on our team play at such an exceptional level, because that's the expectation and the standard is set when you show up on the field and in the meeting rooms. If you're not taking notes, you're not learning. So, guys are coming in and just doing those things, and our coach really holds us to level, and that's what we expect of ourselves as well. So I'm very fortunate just to be in this organization under great people like that, guys that are very honest, guys that'll make sure you are doing the right thing each day and day in and day out.
They're grateful to have you too. I mean, from your first day there, I had heard nothing but positive things from Jimmy, from Tart, from E-Man, and then you go out there on the field and you put it on tape. It's been cool to watch. But the Nicholas John Bosa that you know and the Nicholas John Bosa that I know is through them, because you're talking about Nick giving speeches after the game. I said, that's my boy. Look at him. They grown up, because he didn't say 6 words the whole year. Weird.
And it's funny because I think it really started last year, because, my first year last year, I'm like, man, this is the bear. Like, this is the guy. This is, this is who I watched on film, and then you hear of his brother and everything, and they're just so alike, and they're just quiet, and they just show up with this. The next, coach is making them talk before pregame speeches, and I'm just like, this dude actually says words, like, and then it starts from 6, like you said, then it works its way to 12. He hasn't passed 15 yet, but okay. he's working his way there. But he's an incredible dude for sure.
Well, he's working his way past 15 sacks on the year. That's for sure, boy. I'm on the defensive MVP hype train, baby. I'm the conductor. Choo choo.
Oh, trust me, we all trying to get him. Like, I know I seen some stuff, and everybody wants, other guys, and like, man, Bosa can change the game just like that. So,
right.
Anytime we can get him on the field and get him to get to the quarterback or get to the running back, let him do it. Like,
bro, my last year, the year we went to the Super Bowl, bro, I used to just be back there bailing, because I know whether we rush 4 or we rush Mo, he gonna get home, or he's gonna be in somebody's face and they're gonna toss it up, and I need to see it. I need to see it come out.
No, I heard you were big on vision, and I see it, because that makes sense now. Like, being in this defense, like, if you just have eyes on the QB, it's going to get tipped. It's going to get pressure, and the ball not going to be on time to where it needs to be. So, man, the ball just be flying over places because of that bear, that big bear.
Because of that bear. Because, hey, that D-line be hunting. It'd be Eric, the bear. See, we had Defoe then, too. And Defoe was, imagine Eric, and then there's another Eric next to him, and they're playing that D tackle. And then you got Bosa and D Ford on the edge. It was just like, hey, you got 2 6'7s in your face, and then you got monsters on the edge. You got to put it up, baby.
Got to put it up.
So what about Christian? Christian, hey, CMC then came and made his presence felt. That's changed the offense, and another, made it more dynamic. Trent's back. Like, man, y'all got to be feeling good.
Yeah, I think, honestly, for me, in my perspective, I got to play against him, CMC, right before we ended up trading and getting him. So it's kind of weird, because, like, I took a bad angle, and I was like, I think it was like, and everybody, I missed tackles, but a lot of it is, we shoot our guns, and as our defense, especially, you can shoot your guns because somebody's running.
Somebody coming.
The more times, believe it or not, when you sit in the chair, they get more yards than just shooting your guns and somebody else hitting him right after he stops his feet. So I remember just sitting in the chair and trying to see CMC run, and I'm like, that's a touchdown. He cut back on me, and I remember seeing, so he gets traded, he comes here, and I'm like talking to him, like the first thing I asked him in the locker room was, bro, like, why'd you cut back on me? Like, like, tell me why. Like, what did I do to give you, like, he's like, man, I just don't like playing against guys like that, just shoot their guns. Like, and I'm just like, wow, that's the first time he saw me sit in the chair. So he runs right by me, scores. But what was cool about him, was really impressive, is he came in on I think a Friday, and he turned around and played on a Sunday.
Right.
And Kyle's scheme. It's not simple. It's not easy. Guys that play in this scheme, I have so much respect for, because if you hear the huddle call, you would know like how crazy this offense is and what they do. Right. And for him to come in a game like that and just be able to play, because I remember seeing him, I think Saturday, the walkthrough, and I was like, "Are you playing?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You just got here," and he's like, "Yo, I'm ready to go." And so he prepares every week, be ready to go, and that's why I have so much respect for him. He's such a great player, but a great person as well.
Yeah, he is. He's a cool dude. Stanford guys, they figure it out. Whatever. We used to be good at a point in time. You ain't got to see it, but we used to be all right.
Don't worry, we talked about that.
Right. He was up for the Heisman. Once upon a time. But you got to tell me this, because you go through college, you're broke as a joke. Now these kids getting paid, whole different avenue. But when you got drafted, what you spend your first check on? Like you had to splurge on something. Don't tell me you just put it in the bank and I ain't spend no money.
Well, first off, I'm a very frugal person, okay. And I will tell you that. And I'm not lying about this. So it was funny because I'm from a farm, and I grew up on the lake, I grew up on the water, I grew up in the mountains snowboarding, and so I'm in LA at the time right before I get drafted actually. And I knew I'm about to get, so this is pre-spending draft money. And I'm like, I'm going to get drafted. I'm going to do this real quick. So I'm driving in South Central in the hood, and I see this tire shop.
What are you doing?
It's where I live. It's where I lived. I'm used to it at this point,
Right.
I'm driving and I see this tire shop. And I'm like, man, is that a broken jet ski? And I've always wanted a jet ski my whole life. And so I went into this tire shop, and it was just this rundown place. And I asked, it was broken, bad. And I was just like, I want this jet ski. And he's like, why would you want to buy something that's broken? I was like, because my best friend's a mechanic and he's going to fix it for free. And so I ended up buying a broken jet ski for $400. Put $100 battery in it, and it brand new, and it worked just as good. And so my first purchase was a broken jet ski, I think. So it's random. Trust me, random. But I'm a country dude. That's just what I wanted to get, and that's what I want to do. I didn't go buy no Gucci, no nothing. It was just, I'm ready to go rock with this broken jet ski.
Have you got to ride it yet?
Oh yeah, no, we took it out. It was my best friend. He fixed it that day when I showed up. I drove it all the way back from LA to Oregon. He fixed it all up, and then right after I got drafted, took it out on the water and everything. So it was pretty lit. I'm not even gonna lie. That was probably one of my favorite experiences of all time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Best $400 you ever spent.
Best $400 I ever spent. And I was like, because all the new ones go for 10 grand,
right?
15 grand. So I thought I got a deal off of it. And I was like, man, I might as well just flip it at this point. It's working now. It looks good. And not saying
you got rid of it.
No, I still have it. I'm just saying I could flip it, right, make my 500 back. But
no question,
it was pretty cool to be able to see it on the water work. So.
That is pretty cool. I ain't gonna tell you my jet ski story. Just understand, it took me a while to get out the boat deck. When the boat dropped. When I tell you we got into the water and the jet ski wasn't working, and we had already parked the car back, and other people were coming. Oh my God, it was a disaster. It almost flipped over. Story for it.
That's you gotta tell me that one.
Oh man, well I appreciate you having. I ain't gonna steal no more of your day. I know it's your off day and you got to get some rest, but I really appreciate you joining me. I'll see you next week.
Oh, the Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be there.
You know that guy.
Yes, sir. I'll be there. We working, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'll be on the field.
That's lit. That's awesome. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you too, brother. Yes, Anytime. Sir. All love.